Now, with Mr. McEwen's permission, I'll show you how to select a great story for the screen. There you are.
Excellent choice.
Speaking as an actor, when you find another one like it, let me be the first to know.
That's what all good actors say. Find me a great story. But in writing, as in the other creative arts, there's no pat formula for success. We have 50 writers here at Warner Brothers, some of them working on stories that won't be filmed for 2 or 3 years. But you know where we find many of our best originals.
In the newspapers.
Real life. Here's the inspiration of the picture we saw last night.
Wait a minute, Walter. Rebel Without a Cause isn't about slum kids.
No, but slum kids started the thinking. We worked on the idea for months. Our writers made a discovery. We took a look into some privileged homes, far from the slums. Nice homes, very respectable. And nice kids, well clothed. No slum kids here, but beneath the surface,
trouble. Plenty of it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now watching a scene from Rebel Without a Cause. This is a drag race, otherwise known as a chicken run. It has nothing to do with chickens or with racing. It has to do with kids, nice kids. Shortly, you will see two of them drive 2 cars toward the edge of a high cliff. Object, to stay with the car longer than the other fellow, but not too long.
Hit your line!
Makes kids from nice homes do things like this? What are they looking for? What drives them? What has hurt them? To find the answers, the writers of Rebel observed the day-to-day operations of police precinct stations. They saw real-life scenes like this one.
Well, don't I get you everything that you want? A bicycle, you get a bicycle. Car, you...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You hear all this talk about not loving your kids enough. We give you love and affection, don't we? Then what is it? I can't even touch you anymore, but you pull away. I want to understand you. You're tearing me apart!
So the creators of the story discovered their subject had as much to do with parents as it did with children. With a father like this one, confused, ineffective, a tragic figure, bewildered by the responsibility of parenthood. By now, you're probably asking yourself why a tragic figure like this is being portrayed by a comedian, and one of the best in the business. An actor you've seen on television as Joan Davis's husband, and whom you've heard in your theaters as the voice of the cartoon character, Mr. Magoo. Why is a comedian playing a serious role? Well, in Rebel Without a Cause, the casting was as provocative as the script. And here's a witness to that fact is my very good friend, Jim Backus.
Hiya, Gig.
How are you, Jim?
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen?
That's Jim behind the foliage. What's it for?
Oh, that. Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, ever since I played that serious part in Rebel Without a Cause, I'm more or less snarling my way to a new career. I use the term loosely, but for the first time in my life, Gig, I play a heavy in a psychological Western. It's a wonderful part. I shoot 3 guys in the back, I kick a little dog. Old lady, 90 years, foreclose a mortgage on Christmas Eve. Delightful comedy part, you know?
I can see that. That's kind of a switch for you, isn't it?
Well, serious drama? No, actually it isn't, Gig. You see, when I was in Cleveland as a kid, I grew up there, I always wanted to be an actor. My family wanted me to be an engineer, but I was under the delusion that actors made a lot of money, they slept late, and were surrounded with beautiful girls. Boy, was I wrong. But anyhow, I decided to become an actor at quite an early age.
You were a top-flight radio announcer, Jim. Was that in Cleveland?
Yes, it was in Cleveland. I stayed there, and I saved some money, and I went back to New York again to try my luck at the theater. I didn't play comedy, actually, until I discovered a character that I created called Hubert Updike III, the richest man in the world. In fact, all his ancestors came over here on the Mayflower.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have ancestors who came on the Mayflower.
On the Shakedown Cruise? You remember that character, isn't that fun?
I certainly do. But seriously, Jim, it takes quite an actor to switch from comedy to drama.
Well, Gig, you're very flattering, but actually I want to thank Warner Brothers for being very brave, for, well, more or less taking a so-called comedian like myself and putting them in a wonderful, serious role. It's meant an awful lot to me and has done so much for me, and I only hope it helps Warner's as much as it helps me.
I know it will.
Well, Gig, oh my gosh, I gotta go.
Well, it was very nice of you to come over, Jim.
Well, very nice of you to invite me, Gig. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoy Rebel Without a Cause. So long, Gig.
So long, Jim. Thank you, Jim Backus. Thanks also to Walter McEwen of our story department for showing us a little of the story behind the story of Rebel Without a Cause. We'll be right back with news about next week's television film and our next surprise behind the cameras.